In this lesson, we're talking about how will you find factories in Vietnam. We're going to talk about online B2B websites, associations, using fabric mills, and networking. B2B websites that I recommend are Global Sources, Alibaba, and VietFactory, and YellowPages.vn. Global Sources and Alibaba, they started in China, so most of the factories on those B2B matching websites are Chinese factories, but there are a few Vietnamese factories, so it's a place to start. And then VietFactory is a website that was created specifically for Vietnam, and it's just came on the scene a couple years ago. But check it out, it might help you. Then finally is YellowPages.vn, which is I find it very useful. And my recommendation is that you start with Google Translate. So you go to Google Translate and you type in the name of your product, and then you translate it to Vietnamese. Then you go to the YellowPages.vn website and go to the Vietnamese version. I tend to get better results with the Vietnamese version than the English version. Just copy paste in the name of your product in Vietnamese that you got from Google Translate and click search. And you will get a long list of factories that supposedly manufacture that product. Now, word of caution, the first thing you want to do is check if they have a website, and then go to their website and try to determine if they're a trading company or not, because a lot of them are trading companies. Hopefully the website is very clear and you see the products that are similar to what you want to make, and then they have their contact information. Another tip is then to go to like Google Maps based on the information that you get from YellowPages.vn and compare the information that you see on Google Maps with YellowPages.vn. You can also go to associations. I'm only going to name 3 that are related to apparel. That's for VITAS and Vinatex, which are the 2 largest apparel associations in Vietnam with more than 1,000 members. VITAS in particular, they sell a book for $50 that lists all their members, and you can search through the index and get a lot of good valuable information, as well as the contact information of over 1,000 factories. Vinatex, they have an office in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, and you can just go to the office and talk to the staff and try to get some help that way. Then there's VCOSA, which is the spinning association. So starting at the very beginning of the supply chain for fabric and apparel. And they have a very good website and offices in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. And they've got staff that are willing to try to help you out, starting with the yarn. And then, of course, they also are very familiar with the fabric mills. The third one is Lefaso, which is the Leather Accessory Association. They have a very nice website, and all their members are specialized in leather products. So you can reach out to them and try to get some introductions to a leather factory. The other way is obviously networking. Whether you just build up your own network on LinkedIn by searching for sourcing companies, factories in Vietnam, or you can hire consultants like myself that have been here for 15 years and built up an amazing network of friends and factory owners. For example, Maxime is a good friend of mine, 10 years. We met 10 years ago, and he's a specialist in jeans. Edgar is a specialist in screen printing. He sells screen printing and embroidery equipment to many, many factories in Vietnam, so he knows who's who when it comes to screen printing. Sunny is an expert in sublimation, and Michael is an expert in woodworking and metal fabrication. So hire me, and I can introduce you to my network. And bonus tip, as I referred to earlier, like VCOSA, starting with the spinning factories or the fabric mills, even though you want to buy finished products, finished garments, finished backpacks, or finished leather accessories, but something that I've seen happen in the past is if you start lower in the supply chain and you manage to get either you meet them at a trade show, or you go to the factories that are spinning yarn or making fabric, and you get a chance to talk to the salespeople, and you establish that the yarn that they're making is needed for the fabric that you want to produce. Well, it's in their best interest to introduce you to their customers who are buying their yarn and making fabric. And so then you go to the fabric mills, and the fabric mills, same thing. They are selling to all the factories in Vietnam. And once it's clear that the fabric that the fabric mill is making is the fabric that you want to buy, and you ask them to introduce you to their preferred sewing partners. And then you get introductions to sewing factories. And now you've got the yarn, the fabric, and the sewing factory. And that's a great place to start. In summary, how to find factories in Vietnam: use the B2B websites, associations, fabric mills, and just through networking. So once you've found the factories, the next step is to go and visit them. And that's what we'll talk about in the next lesson, is how to visit factories in Vietnam.